grand finals, and the requirements from what we've seen the last few days, Jack, it's not over the top. Some of these players are making it through from the qualifiers, making it into the grand finals for the last day with even just 1 point and 5 or 6 eliminations, which means some players, a lot of players, are playing very slow. But that's not the only strategy we've seen. We've seen some incredible aggression, actually. We saw even yesterday, Aiden from Ghost Gaming was, well, it felt like he was playing a different game, game 1 and 2, jumping around out in the open, even ignoring building at times. He went into, you've seen some streamers, and I'm a victim of it, just weapon swapping just super fast just because. It's like a muscle memory thing. We didn't see that too much before that moment, and he was leaving Tilted yesterday. We saw that. We've seen Animal dropped our first double-digit elimination game of the event so far. 10 eliminations in a competitive format like this is holy cow.
That's crazy. It's crazy. And we've even seen players who, through the 4 games, struggle for the majority of them, but then have one monster performance, one victory royale, which earns them enough points to qualify for the grand finals that take place tomorrow. Probably going to happen again here. Either way, though, we've got to catch up with how we got to this point. As we mentioned earlier on the schedule, we had 3 heats, and, well, we had some top performers. Heat 1, SSG Colton. Heat 2, NRG Kaysid, and then Heat 3, WPG Ranger, all representing some major organizations there, showing up big for their squads.
A number of these players, they're going to drop a lot of different strategies in here, but man, nothing gets better than falling in on your opponent. Those bounce pads from above, super important, especially at the right time to utilize them and can catch your opponents off guard. It's tough to beat someone falling from the sky with a shotgun, Jack.
No, most certainly. And you see there the excitement after that victory. If that drum gun doesn't eliminate that opponent on that last bullet right there, you think the double barrel gets a second shot off. Here's Kaysid a little bit later on in his performances, and you see already 5 eliminations there. How about a 6th? Woo! The headshot crits from that rare drum gun, quite good. And, well, you know what's even better? A rocket to the back.
Now, you mentioned earlier a lot of larger organizations, really organizations of all size being represented here. I know right now already Trouble Boys has 4 players qualified for the grand finals tomorrow. World's Best Gaming has 3, I believe. FaZe, Cloud9, Liquid. We have players from all over the place showing up for this, and it's wonderful to see such an embracement of competitive play from these organizations that have been around for a very long time. They see the value of Fortnite and just how top tier the play can be, and it's wonderful to see. It's that level of inclusion that I think Fortnite on the esports side has been. It's fantastic.
Oh, they've been really pushing for it, and it's been paying off to this point. This is the biggest Fortnite LAN event on a competitive side that we've seen to this point. As we know, $1.5 million on the line. Again, stay involved in the conversation on social media, hashtag Summer Skirmish. We mentioned some of the big names playing tonight. We'll take a look at the full participant list here shortly, but I mean, man, there have been some big names that haven't qualified for this grand final. I know people have been talking about, but
that's true.
We'll see tonight if anyone else falls quite short, because I know a lot of people have some high expectations for these guys that scrim day in and day out.
There are very dedicated players, like you said. A name we were discussing yesterday, Myth, who took time off streaming specifically to practice for PAX. Didn't work out this time, but there's more events coming forward for in the future for these players, and I guarantee you, players with determination like his, and we've seen Vivid put on an excellent show in previous summer skirmishes. It's not over for these players yet, and I would almost expect a competitive mindset like they have. They're going to take this as a learning opportunity. They're going to improve from it. They'll come out with positive mindsets, and they'll crush in the future. Well,
earlier today, we mentioned the Heat 1 winners. That was actually Colton. We caught up with him with an interview.
So the first game, I had to run quite a bit because the zone was on the opposite side of the map. So I was just I had 2 quarter rifts right off the start. So I used those to my advantage and got basically all the way across the map. And then I had a jump pad, so the jump pad got me high ground. I kept high ground most of the last game and just didn't rush any fights. I played it smart. Didn't have too many AR bullets, so I just kind of sat up top and just poked shots at people when they were down below taking fights. I think I got 1 kill off of that, so I just kept high ground, moved into zone, and that pretty much got me the win. I didn't think I would win and then get a 2nd place. I was hoping I could get a top 5 placement. I got one the other night, but no, it definitely went a lot different than what I was expecting. Everything fell in place perfect for me pretty much today. So tonight, I noticed a lot of people were not building. Some of them were just running in the open, and I had a thermal, so, I mean, that thing's dead accurate, so I was just poking shots. I was sitting on a mountain the entire time. They weren't building, so I was just poking shots at them. I did so much damage, it's crazy with that thing. I can't even imagine how many shots I hit with it. It's crazy. If I can get lucky with the safe zone like I did today, then good luck. I mean, that's the biggest thing I can say. It'll all be fun tonight.
He's got to be feeling good heading into tonight. Again, yes, a great start to the day for him, but his work is not done yet. Still 4 more games to play to try to qualify for that big grand final tomorrow. The pressure is on. He mentioned the thermal and people not building out in the open. That's a strategy we saw, you mentioned, from Aiden a little bit yesterday, where it's like, hey, I'm just going to kind of go for it. Hope that everyone's hiding in their little 1x1s and I can sneak to a better position on the map.
Now, I hope that he doesn't expect that strategy to necessarily work in qualifiers. You have a number of players that made it through from the heats, and they did so for a reason. You won't see very many of these players just not building. It's almost like a defensive reaction. Some of them, they run sensitivities that are a little bit higher than maybe you would expect. The reason being so they can do quick 180s, put a wall up behind them the second they get shot or they get hit in the back, and stop taking damage. I would not expect a thermal to be as effective, but still, for something like this, where there's a lot of players that are taking slow, methodical decisions on their movement and their location, it'll still be very powerful.
Yeah, a lot of people not wanting to make risky plays when all they need is kind of 1 point. Their eyes are on, hey, I see to place top 10 maybe even once, and that might be enough to get me in towards that grand final. It's been the theme of this week so far, but typically the people who get those higher elims, have that tiebreaker on their side, have been the ones seeing a lot of success.
Exactly. 1 elimination, I believe, 1 point and 6 eliminations. Yesterday was the bottom end of qualifying for the grand finals on Monday, which means, like you said, elimination count is very important. It's not necessarily all about points, because a lot of these players are ending up with, you know, anywhere from just 1 to 6, maybe even 7 points total over the course of 4 games. And so eliminations are weighted heavily, but that's not what starts the tiebreaker determination. Before that, Jack, it's actual victory royales, which is how we saw Animal come out on top of the leaderboards in day 2 qualifiers. Because he only had 14 eliminations and Aiden had 18, which is the highest we've seen thus far in any of the days. And I am excited because of some of the names tonight. We have Tfue and Nick Merckx and Liquid Chap. They're slayers.
Yeah, they most
You're going to see high elimination counts. I'm excited.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. Now, we've got a great crowd here in the venue, and you know what? I want to give them something special. This is my decision. No, I'm just kidding. I was just told we're doing this.
Absolutely.
And I'm super excited. Decision. I tweeted about this. This is big, folks, because this is actually so sick. Who wants to see the high-stakes LTM right now? Make some noise. Good. Good. Let's do it. Let's bring it up. This is absolutely awesome. The first look, the first footage of the Getaway limited time mode and the new item, the Grappler, ladies and gentlemen, right here, right now. This has been the talk of all sorts of things online. There it is, another new item coming to Fortnite, and you know what? It's simple. Here's the plan. 4 safes have been loaded into supply drops scattered around the island, each carrying a large jewel. You and your crew must locate a safe, pick up the prize inside, and get away with the goods while battling enemies. The first 4 teams to make their way to a van with a jewel and a getaway win. Are you up for the job? Simple as that. Look, I mean, look, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? You see on the right side, the getaway vans, the safes that are on the map, all sorts of stuff going on. There's the jewel, picking it on up. Completely different way to play Fortnite, Ben.
These changes, the new modes that they've been putting in recently and adding a flavor change to the way that the game plays. And here we see, like you were talking about, the Grappler, man. Look at this thing.
Here's the Grappler, the first look.
Are you kidding me?
Sword around the map, completely changing it. You can take on some of these fights. Oh, I saw this clip earlier. Like, I cannot wait to do this.
Fly into the air. Boom. Imagine a double barrel right as you land.
Trust me, I can imagine it. There's the getaway van floating up there.
The jeweled llama. Jack, you got to get one of those for your house.
I do. You see the team moving on up. They get to the van, they board it, and you know what? There's the victory royale
before you leave, right? On the way out. What a ride.
I love it. And you know what? We mentioned all the stuff going on. You see the skins there. The glider was in play. Tomorrow, actually, we'll take a look at the free high-stakes challenges and rewards you can unlock by completing them. Again, that is high stakes and the getaway, the new limited time mode, and the grappler as well.
I expect within an hour, YouTube montages left and right of that thing. Places like Tilted Towers are going to be hot again, man.
Oh, for sure.
I cannot wait.
The Tilted Towers has definitely always been hot.
Have you seen Paradise Palms, though?
That is true. That is true. That is true. Either way, I love all the additions coming on in. The glider looking so sick.
The money flying out the back.
Yeah, the different, you know, challenges you can do to unlock the certain tiers to the skins. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. The grappler being added on through. All these updates, man, keeping the game fresh. You love to see it. Either way, Game 1 should be up here momentarily. Predictions from you tonight. We've got some big names.
We've seen ups and downs from a lot of these well-known players. I would expect Nick Merckx to set up base in Tilted Towers, as we've seen him do a number of times in the past. Tfue has played exceptionally well in previous events, and I would look for a very high elimination count from him, plus some scope AR shots. I even mentioned it, I think, day 1 or day 2. He's the kind of player that'll build up in the top of a tower, establish himself in the upcoming safe zone, and just gatekeep. And elimination counts will fly. But then, like we've said in the past, Chap. Have you seen Chap in previous summer skirmish weeks?
He's decent.
One of the best ground players up close.
Yes.
His management of structures, as we've said in the past, knocking walls down with the pickaxe, instantly replacing, so he could take control. So he's the one that can edit out the walls, make windows, and take shots.
It's pretty nuts what he can do. I actually caught up with him earlier on. Saw them all hanging out. He was with Poach, Tfue, and them. We wound up, you know, I saw how Chap was playing. And again, there's Tfue, Nick Merckx competing tonight alongside Chap. But Chap had his keyboard, like, underneath his monitor, essentially. And then his mouse was, like, in front of the center of his body. So instead of how you normally have your keyboard on your left or your mouse on your right, whatever's comfortable for you, Chap was, like, playing, like, this. Does this make sense?
Yeah, no, hopefully,
are you seeing what I'm doing?
This doesn't make any sense.
That was how he was playing. That's where his mouse was.
No human plays like that, Jack. He's got to be a robot.
He was, and he was arguing with his teammates that was the elite way to play. We'll see how he performs. There is a look at everyone stacked on in to the players area. The Fortnite Summer Skirmish, 8 weeks of competition. They've all led to this point. To this point. The reason I said that is because I got told participants in my ear. Let's see who's playing tonight, Lupo.
There it is, sir. Named a lot of names that you've seen actually multiple days in a row. You have to remember, if players came out here on their own volition and they did not qualify for the grand finals on Monday, they're given an opportunity. If they get up, if they got up bright and early and came back the next morning, they could give it another shot. You see Hysteria, one of those players specifically. I know that that Tempo from FaZe had to do the same thing a number of times. But you know what that says to me, Jack? That they're here to win. They're determined, and I hope they take previous rounds as learning opportunities.
There's Geomach.
We watched Slossie yesterday.
Man, I mean, there's so many talented players. United's Ashton involved as well. And then over to the final page.
Nick Merckx.
Dimes is there.
C9
Merckx,
Blind.
C9 Blind.
Blind is that's a name we saw come up with the Ninja Vegas event. It's the roster here is terrifying, to be honest.
Biologist, General, and gentlemen. The battle bus is about to take off. Game number 1 starts right now. There you go. Make some noise. Who will qualify for tomorrow's $1.5 million grand finals? Folks, there are some heavy hitters, as we just saw in tonight's competition, and it is finally here.
Now, we've got a number of players jumping out early, going to that bottom left corner. This is actually the heaviest we've seen an over-the-water drop. Players trying to get as low as possible so they can open the chute as late as they can. The idea there, trying to hit, there's a couple buildings down there with chest spawns early. Greasy Grove is an easy drop there, or even Flush Factory. You see, it looks like a pair. You see kind of spin around in the air, looking at each other to do some tracking there. Tilted Towers, the home of Nick Merckx. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players dropping in there. But everywhere, as we've seen, is going to be populated. There's going to be players playing outside of POIs. Early trap from Nick Merckx, as we were saying, a player to watch. People have seen him quite a bit, and it feels natural here.
I would go as far as to say Nick Merckx knows that middle gray building in Tilted better than literally anyone in the world. He lands here every single game he plays. This is his home, essentially. He will navigate Tilted Towers better than arguably anyone out there. We'll take off his perspective for a second and swap on around, as there's a lot of engagements going on around the map. You see here, Wheels, Rex, Slang, all getting involved early on.
Now, you were mentioning Nick Merckx, just to use him as an example, but there's a number of players that are like this. People have drop locations that they trend to, and competitive players, they're going to learn that about their opponents before they come into games like this. So I would almost guarantee you that people that are dropping there, they know what a play there. The tack shotgun, the green tack, a pair of shots there secure the first elimination for Rex, but he's not done yet. He's got the remainder of a 1v1 here. He's at 54 HP. That tack comes in big and gets Wheels for the double.
Wow, that last crit right there saves him, as Rex was one bullet away from getting dropped early on, but now 2 elims. And remember, we've got to stress the points, how it all works. If you get 3 elims, you earn yourself a point. 3 to 4. 5 to 6 elims is 2 points. 7 plus elims is 3. If you place in the top 10, you earn 1 point. If you get second or third, you get 2. And if you earn the Victory Royale, it's a plus 3. Got that on your screen. He just earned himself an elimination. You saw Hysteria actually nearby with full HP, but now it looks like we're heading out over to Retail Row, where multiple players are stacking up. Engagements about to begin.
Kairos in the southwest corner of Retail. This is a pretty common drop. If you're looking to push into Retail because you see a number of players move in there, these 2 houses out here are a good spot to hit. There's a lot of brick. There are a ton of just stray trees you can pick up, and I believe 3 chest spawns, 2 or 3 chest spawns in those 2 buildings. And if nobody else goes, there's confident ammo. But right here, the third partying on Frankie, TK.
You can, for people at home, explain the term third partying for someone maybe tuning in for the first time tonight.
So 2 players are in a 1v1 situation. Maybe they're build battling. Maybe like you saw there, they're in kind of a medium range fight where they've both built mini bases just to establish some layers between the opponents, and a third player enters the engagement from kind of a side angle, almost an angle that isn't going to get seen initially. They take shots at just the right time to try and secure one of the eliminations, which is exactly what you saw Kairos do here, but he's got to box himself in because his opponent has the top-down advantage. Those pyramids to block ramp push his courage are super important, especially the timing. You can catch people almost inside. Now, that edit, do you want to talk about how dirty that edit was?
That was a nice little play there. He moved and began to run to the opposite side of the ramp and then rotated it, and then drop him on that opposite side. He's trying to break down his top structure because he's out of materials. Does tag his opponent once there, continuing to use that pickaxe, and he's realizing no mats. He's got to try to drop his opponent down to his level. Will it work? There it is. Can't quite hit a shot there as he is blocked yet again. The fadeaway. Won't have an opportunity there, just continuing to use this pickaxe. Now he's got him on his level. This is his chance. Kairos can't get it.
Loses track of Pupper in the middle of all the building.
As Pupper gets the elim.
Back and tilted. Joker Untamed pushing on his opponent right now. Lifts a shotgun shot, but gets lavish with a follow-up. And you saw there, he ended with 1 HP. You saw it going down to the bottom.
Just, again, show off just how much I know about Fortnite. You actually can't get weaker than having just 1 HP. That's the lowest amount of health you can have.
Jack, you're not wrong.
There you go.
You're not wrong.
You're welcome. That's why I paid.
Established in the UI building. Like over here, the set that destroys Kev is at the sports complex to the west of Tilted, but he's not alone there. Jalakias is hiding underneath, and they're going to do a little bit of creeping. The audio cues, super important. Even editing, speedy edits as he's trying to get up above. Could have just built 1 ramp, but instead double edits on the way through.
Look at this zone.
A lot of players, hopefully they're seeing this. They have 2 minutes and 52 seconds to start making a push because this zone is way west side. Snobby, greasy, Tilted, even Pleasant and maybe Haunted with Shifty Shafts in there. This is centered on literally who we're watching.
I'm actually really surprised to see him going for so many hand cannon shots. Does get tagged up quite a little bit. Yeah, that was maybe hoping you get a quick little 1 shot there. Won't work out.
Especially with materials that he's sitting on right now. Probably would have been safer to go for some like a ramp wall and then just crouch and stand up and peek and take a shot and re-crouch to hide behind. Just an update for everybody. Pupper and Rex both currently have 2 eliminations, but nobody has more than that, which means nobody's got a point yet. 3 is the bottom end for that.
Here's a replay near Haunted Hills. Diabolic.
This Christo.
When you got that much HP, you think you're going to the engagement you're in, especially when your opponent has just about 100 to use. The zone closing on in. We mentioned just how far west this zone is. Going to force every out of the map, from Retail, Tomato Temple, Risky Reels, Paradise Palms, Salty Springs, to make some moves west. And when you've got that river in the middle, there's a lot of gatekeeping opportunity here, Dr. Lupo, to be able to shoot down on your opponents and maybe pick up some free limbs.
Now, information just for people watching home, all of the Cloud9 players that didn't qualify yesterday are in this today, which means the entire roster could still end up in the grand finals tomorrow.
Yeah.
Speaking of big teams too, Liquid Chap, I saw the feed a moment ago, got his first elimination. Misfits taking out 42. Which is too bad. I believe he was at 2 eliminations, one elim away from a point, but got cut early. We're still 60 plus remaining, so there's no points for 42 MVU just yet. Kev trying to take shots.
Gosh, he's just praying that hand cannon hits.
He's been rolling. I don't blame him. The thing hits like a bus.
Oh,
if
well,
you're
I mean,
within.
one shot's exactly. Scenario. Kev's just going to go for this one, though. At some point, you think he's using a lot for this fight. When will this engagement finally come to a close? They're one level away from each other. Kev's still hunting, still hoping it can work out. You see bouncing up and down, trying to look for the best area to engage from. Only 90 mats, and these are these early game fights that some of the top players talk about. Not having the chance to farm, not having the chance to loot. Basically, it's nothing left to his name. There's the elim finally.
But on the rotation, I was almost expecting at some point, if he pinpointed his location with audio, to drop off the top, maybe suffer a little bit of fall damage, but catches opponent off guard with an immediate shotgun shot.
And look at that. The second the elim comes in, just starts hitting whatever materials there are. Here's Rio.
Sentinel already has 2 players in the grand finals as well. This would put him at 3 if Rio does extremely well today. And it looks like he's got the determination for it. Kyle 182 going down at an elimination.
And here's Chap. 1 elim to his name to this point. Absolute beast in Fortnite from everything I've seen from competing against him here. Just does get tagged on up, so only 87 HP.
Look at his materials already, though.
And that's what Liquid are best at. And I'm wondering, oh my gosh, what can you buy with... I was wondering what you could buy with those slurp juices there.
Sure, we'll see here in a second.
Machine.
This is his first elimination earlier. Those shotgun shots, the accuracy, even from up top on Bearded Derp down below him.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah. So he actually does purchase for wood. So that's, for me, a great investment when you're down to just 87 health. Remember, the slurp was updated recently. It's no longer just, 25 health and shield. It now gives you 75 in total. Starts with your HP. So they're at 87 health. He'll wind up getting 13 HP, and then the rest of that 75 winds up going in to his shield, so he'll finish with about 62 shield there as well.
Now, Courage, I'm going to try and think off the top of my head. I believe it's maybe it's like a 4x4 or 5x4 base, number of squares that this building takes up. Nick Merckx has not left that building yet. He hasn't left that 20 square area.
And that was Chap who actually just ran right past him. What an engagement that would have been if it was Chap versus Nick. But here you go, Chap in the build engagement now, trying to stay above his opponent.
He actually ended up in the same box and had to fall out to save himself. He's going to drop down. Are you kidding me?
That's confidence. That's confidence. Stops and is it impulse time? I believe so. He's going to look to just reset this fight, get away. If you heard, the opponent he was in the build battle with started getting tagged from a third-party engagement. Didn't want to have to deal with any of that. He'll go ahead, get away. He's actually burned through all of his wood now, down to just 60 left.
You saw his loadout, Courage. He had a blue AR, a green suppressed SMG, you can see right there, and the heavy shotgun. And out of that box that he opened, that he pulled the impulse nades from, there was a gold heavy sniper. Would you have picked it up and dropped potentially the blue AR?
Listen, Chap knows better than I do. You could have potentially done it, but at the same time, maybe it's not his play style that he's going with. Another vending machine purchase.
This is Ashen. His partner Jack has already qualified. The shots out here at Lazy Links, accuracy, mid-air accuracy with SMGs, even a gray doesn't matter. They're hitting a shot.
The swap weapon is so key. With the way that the meta of the game is right now, if you're running a shotgun, you want that quick little spray weapon you can go to, make hopefully damage. If not, you swap on over to that SMG to finish off the elimination. Chap now back up to 300 plus wood, 900 plus brick. I believe he might have gotten a second elim there. Now sitting at 2, so Chap just 1 elimination away from earning himself a point. That would be a fantastic start for one of the high-profile players here in the qualifiers tonight.
Now, I want to say I still think that the gold-heavy snipe, picking it up in this situation, especially with how slow he's potentially seen other players play during the previous 2 days of qualifiers, just getting a 150 damage shot on someone on the move means potentially
it's Tfue.
It's Tfue up top. Chat
versus Tfue is the fight going on now here, folks. Who will come out on top? Tfue was just tagged by a third party, so he's got no shields left. Chap playing from the low ground right now. These are two of the best Fortnite players in the world. It's what this competition is all about. Chap now beginning to build on up, looking to match the height of Tfue, or will he just disengage here?
He's moving past and looking to box himself in. He's building multiple layers to this little catacomb to make it so that Tfue can't track which building he's in.
Yep.
You have a number of these little one-by-one chambers attached to each other, and players are going to have trouble watching. He's got multiple layers, and he has the edit right now, so we can look through. He's then looking through the wood planks. He's trying to find Tfue in the structure that he's in. You see there, the edit. He can see it already, even though there's a ramp in the way, so he's still safe, and the nade bounces off.
That grenade's actually going to drop a bunch of Chap's structure. Here's Tfue now, one a limb to this point. Has a good amount of materials right now, just trying to keep those grenades going on in, and he's actually got 3 more in his inventory, so he's just going to continue to lob these on out, hope to knock down some of these opponents nearby.
You see there, he noticed he made a mistake and did not close the wall up, so he re-edited the ramp that he was standing on that he closed off the wall, closed off the ramp again. Try to keep the layers between you and an opponent, because you don't know, Chat might have explosives as well. He could pre-fire a rocket and then laser down the single wall that might be separating him. So that's a smart play from Tfue to close his own build off.
Getting to move early because this next zone was revealed. He knows he's got to move a little bit closer towards Snobby Shores.
This is so far west.
This is the furthest west zone you could possibly have at this point, folks. So everyone continuing to move in this direction. You see Chap disengaged. You've also got Tenpo on your screen. Nick Merckx is still alive. He needs one more a limb for a point. Here's his opportunity here. Will Nick Merckx get on the board early on? One of the top console players in the world, one of the biggest names out there, and he's got 2 players below him, both without shields, but even for Nick, he's quite low on HP himself. He's going to keep this high ground for the moment. Blue drum gun in hand.
While they were swapping weapons in that spectate view, Kayun did have a double barrel, which we've seen used all the time, constantly, especially in these close fights like this, because Courage up close, if you're within basically
Nick wants this.
range,
Nick wants this right now.
it's a one shot.
He's trying to make it happen. Grenade launcher now being used. Nick Merckx going back towards the high ground. I think he needs to make sure he's got himself a floor that he can potentially bounce pad with in case this structure gets knocked down. He knows there's someone just 1 tier below. Again, folks, if he gets a third of limb right here, he will earn himself a point, and 1 point has been enough for multiple players to qualify in the previous nights. Kayun is so weak, but Nick doesn't know. He's going to try to peek on out. Is this his chance? No! The wall blocks the shot. And he's still got close to him. He's got a ton of health. High amount of hit points. The zone is here. This is kind of an all-in. This is an all-in from Nick. I think he's going to bounce pad. He's going for it all, folks. It's going to get dramatic here towards these moments. No!
He got caught out, pinched between 2 players, the one underneath him and Kayun, who has
look at how weak he
26.
26 health.
Would have taken 1 shot. Rio, as we were watching earlier, he's at 2 eliminations as well. By the way, Flower, a fellow Rogue member, did hit 4 eliminations, which means he has 1 point already.
And Kayun, who just eliminated Nick, that was his third elim, so he will be on the board as well.
Energy General has 3 eliminations. Rec has 3 eliminations. Misfits. Misfits GG. Gyre from Misfits has 3 eliminations. So there's only 5 players out of this with 1 elim at this point. You see on your screen right there, and 3 of those are already eliminated. So we have 2 left that have 1 point right now. Yep. A lot of 2s on the board that have already been eliminated, and 4 players right there. You saw Godvet, Diabolic, Rio, and Chap are sitting on 2 right now.
And this is something we've seen a lot from players, running just 2 weapons, maybe a drum gun and a shotgun, and keeping a high amount of heals. That's what Rio's doing right now. This was General. Found 1 right here. Hello, my friend. And
there's his first.
Sniffed out a second here nearby. Yeah, there it was. Boom. That was how Power was eliminated.
Jack, I don't think it's tough to sniff out the grenade explosions there. And you saw actually a swap from the, you tend to favor the heavy shotgun, but he immediately picked up the double barrel.
Now I might be running the double barrel. How
players are they're definitely showing how powerful a weapon like that can be in competitive gameplay. Like this, that the top 10 means a point, and players are going to play slow. They're going to stack on top of each other and get very close.
So right now you're seeing Kayun, who still has found 0 heals in the last 5 to 7 minutes. What is the thought process right now with this little amount of HP?
I think catching a player rotating is extremely important. You see, he probably won't make too many moves until he knows that maybe potential targets or opponents are already engaged with someone else. He's going to wait to strike. if you move too early, you're going to be the one that gets caught off guard. You're going to be the one that people have their eyes on. You also don't want to engage anybody. You only have 26 HP. So the second that you're essentially sending up a signal flare to say, hey, I'm here, please shoot at me.
It's Vape Jesus now in the build battle with Dat Muffins. Muffins one elimination away from a point as well. You're going to hear us stress that a lot tonight, folks, because again, 1 point from our last couple nights of qualifiers was enough to get our 33rd, our last qualified person in. As Muffins just edits the window, gonna peek on out, see what he can spot, maybe get a free tag here with that first shot accuracy. He's got the double barrel, he's got 2 med kits, he's got minis, but here's the one thing he's really missing, Ben, materials, down to just 70 in total that he can build with.
Now, for people that you won't be able to see this just yet, but right now, the white circle, the next safe zone where everybody's going to have to move in 2 seconds, 2/3 of the players are already in there. Yeah. Only 7 are remaining outside of the safe zone. So there's not a whole lot of movement that has to come in. Looks like Snobby Shores was established by what was left of the player base for this game very early. You're going to see a lot of people like Tfue, very good at it. I think Nick Merckx called this a spaceship at one point, building these bases up high to get a top-down view on people. Look at these edits, too.
And this is a very Tfue-esque type play style right here, Ben. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna survive until the end, go for a victory royale. He's not someone that's gonna be dropping 12 limbs. He'll finish the game with whatever he needs to get a point on the board. Here's Colton, who won Heat 1 earlier on. A great use of the frag grenade there to pick up the elim.
The timing to blow up the built materials and then immediately just shoot in as he sees his opponent move. That kind of timing is key. That's forethought.
Yep. Now, as this game continues to move on, remember, top 10 earn a point. We're at 19 players remaining right now. Everyone in the lobby thinking, hey, I see us survive a little bit longer to get a free point on the board.
This is a third-party opportunity, and then some. You got 2 players literally mixing it up on top of each other, and Crunch has the LMG and just spraying to see if he can land any shot. That LMG not super active from
There's 2 players in this.
And there's one.
Eliminates one. Crunch, I think he wants to follow this up right now.
2 eliminations that put him 1 point, 1 elimination away from a point. Just bombing rockets, and he's blown through those explosive rounds very quick. The rocket ammo, which typically you see held onto until late, but right now he's so focused on getting this elimination that it doesn't matter.
I think he goes for this now.
Point.
He got
tags on him. There's no more shield.
Tags. He knows this player is under 100 health, and it's time now for Crunch to go for this. He's getting third party yet again. He's got a ton of materials. I mean, look at this: 900 plus wood, 800 plus metal. But he wants this elim right now, trying to make sure his opponent can't pop any minis to heal themselves. It's Horrified just below him. 18 players left. Remember, top 10 earn a point.
The edits are so fast in here. It looks like there might be a couple stumbles as he's trying to take a corner out, or just the top line of 3 on a wall, and it's maybe getting a little flustered in there because he knows he's got somebody else watching him in this engagement. He wants to secure the elimination on someone, like you said, he knows he's weak already, so if somebody beats him to it, that misses out on that elim and potentially puts himself in a bad position against whoever's watching.
Well, Crunch just still bouncing around, going for these quick edits, looking through these walls, knows there's someone just below. Here comes the zone. People gonna have to move. There's Sean pushing tempo, still alive with max HP. Colton, who we've been talking a lot about so far today, gone, playing the high ground.
The position in the next zone is potentially going to start scraping a off. Not too many. It's on the side of the hill.
Yep.
You hear the traps going down just to prevent people from kind of infesting the structure that has already been built. You're going to see people on the southwest side is already empty because everybody kind of had to shift